That's an odd sound for those people who just loaded this video up. Wait, okay, say that again. Next time. Like our next program is going to go over methods and functions. So you remember how we talked about there's the three things that we have to introduce were for loops, arrays, and functions? Those are the three things. That's the third of the three things, okay? And then we have some other cool stuff we're going to do. We're going to go over switch case statements. We're going to go over, you guys, the next few weeks are going to be, you guys are getting a lot of new awesome tools for your toolbox for how we can do stuff. This is where, the next few weeks is honestly where you guys become real programmers. Like right now you're just learning how to do it. And after you know a few more things, it's where you really become like, this is where you get empowered to actually go be a programmer. It's awesome. Okay, so with arrays, that's what we're going to start. Hopefully you guys named your program something cool like mine. Okay, so arrays are a collection of what? Variables in general, right? Sean said ints. Yeah, they can be integers, they can be strings, they can be chars, they can be bools, they can be whatever. So the point of, yes, they can be JPanels. Bitter. I will say this though, you guys. So our new people, after they get done with their Code High School stuff, we're going to make the new people go back and do the flag program so you guys can watch them. Without doing in arrays, yeah. Okay. All right. So we have essentially we're going to declare something just like variable, like we did with like say an integer, right? If we're going to declare an integer, right, we just go int, and then I'm just going to use numbers as my variable name. Okay. We go int numbers. You guys are good at that. That's cool, right? We're good. That's just an integer, a variable of type integer named numbers. Okay, so arrays are not significantly different. The only thing really that we have to change is that we use those little square brackets right there, like that. Stack two of those together after the integer, and what that says is this is an integer array. Okay, so it's an integer array called numbers. Okay, but with arrays, we can't just declare them, we have to also initialize them, which is what we're going to do now. We go equals new int, like that. And then inside of square brackets, we are going to say how many elements this array is going to be. So for this example, we're going to make it 10. Okay? This 10 can vary. It could be 5. It could be 1 million. It doesn't matter. This is just simply how many elements are we loading into the array. How many, do you remember when we talked about our stack of boxes? You know, where a variable is just a box, but an array is a stack of boxes? This is where we declare how high that stack of boxes is, okay? So, don't type a J there, I just randomly hit that. Okay, so that is our array is declared. We are also going to use an integer, an index, right, an I. So just like you guys learned with your for loops, we're going to go int I, and we're going to initialize it as 0 because it's easier. Okay, int I equals 0. So now we have an index, okay, position that we can run. Okay, now we are simply going to populate the array, and this is where for loops really start to shine. We talked about how the difference between for loops and while loops and when you use one versus the other. This is where for loops become ultra powerful, is manipulating arrays, okay? All right, so we're going to go for, and then we're going to go I equals 0, and then we're going to go there. And our condition is simply going to be while I is less than 10, okay? And then I plus plus, we're going to increment I. So you guys already know how to do that. Curly bracket on our for loop. It will recreate that now inside of our for loop. What we are going to do is simply populate our array, which is 10 position long. We're just going to have our for loop count. And we're going to take that as the for loop is counting. We're going to use those numbers, and we're going to stick them in an array. So we're going to go numbers, because that's our array, right? What position? We're going to go I right now. And then we're going to go equals I, like that. Okay? So what's going to happen? I want you guys to step through the code with me. Okay? So Mac, what happens with this for loop right here? What's going to happen the first time it runs? So I is worth what? Okay, so is I less than 10? Yep, so then it steps down. And what's numbers index position I? 0. So numbers, so array numbers position 0, right? Is equal to what? 0. So it's going to put a 0 into position 0, right? So the first box of our stack is going to be worth 0. It's going to contain 0. Okay, Sean. We get to the end of our for loop. It adds 1 to I, right? Because that happens at the curly bracket. We loop back up. Is I still, this part gets skipped after the first execution, right, guys? Is I still less than 0, Sean? Yep. So what happens right here?
You mean less than 10?
Or less than 10. Excuse me, less than 10. That's right, Drake. It does the thing again, and what does it insert? Into which position? In position 1, which is actually the second position, right? Because we had 0 as our first position. So we kind of get into that messy stuff. Okay. So while, so then it adds 1 to the next, it becomes 2, it loops back up, and it repeats that how many times? 10. 10, right? And we're going to create an error here. I'm going to show you guys this. Okay, so if I run this, what happens? It breaks. Yours was successful, probably because you did not add the equal sign. If I take this equal sign out like that, it should run. Build successful. But if I put this equal sign right here, it causes the loop to run 1 additional time, in which case you get this error. You guys are going to, over the next few weeks, you are going to hate this error more than anything in the whole world. It's because, what's the highest element in the array? Oh, what is it, 9 or 10? Why is it 9? Because the 0, right? It's 10 positions long, but what's the highest position? 9. So what we're doing right now is we are trying to load array numbers position 10, which then it freaks out. That's out of bounds, saying, no, that doesn't work, right? Okay, so if I go back and we get rid of this equal and just do while I is less than 10, what will happen is once this is 10, once it goes out of bounds, the for loop will stop and it won't continue. Okay, so all we've done is fill up this array called numbers with basically counting up, right? Okay, so this is kind of messed up a little bit in the sense of this doesn't actually do anything. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to use a for loop to access the array. So all we're going to do is go for I equals, what should I equal? Well, actually, let's do this. Let's have it count backwards. So we're going to go for I equals 10. Okay, and then we're going to go while, so what's our conditional statement? While I is greater than 0. Okay, and then we're going to go I minus minus. So we can also, so I plus plus adds 1 to I minus minus removes 1 from I, right? What's up, Mac?
What means I is greater than when you not do the first second array?
Yes. As you probably have noticed to this point, Mac, sometimes I program errors into our example program on purpose, and then we go back and fix it. Yeah.
Okay.
You see an error. No, that's good, Mac. That's a good pickup. Mac found an error that you guys are going to see in just a second. So sometimes I program errors on purpose so that we can talk about how to fix them. Okay? So there's an error actually in here. Okay, system.out.println. Okay, and all we're going to do is print numbers, position, I. Okay, so we're going to system.out.println numbers, position, I. So now if we run this, what should it do? It should fill the array up with numbers, and then it should display those array values backwards. Except it does not. Why? Okay, so Page says that setting I to 10 causes it to be out of bounds. So if we look, it says on line what? 18, right? So on line 18, we have an out of bounds exception. So go back to our code, look at line 18. We have an out of bounds exception. Wait a minute. Shouldn't it have been out of bounds right here? The answer to that is no, because we didn't actually call the array until inside. So if Page says that if we change this to 9, then that should fix it. Do we believe Page? You guys should believe Page. She's quite smart. Okay. Okay, Micah, look at Drake's form really quick. Okay, so that's no longer an error, right? Okay, so that's good. Except we have a problem. Did you guys notice this? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why did we skip the 0? Yeah, so if we wanted it to include 0, we need to put an equal sign in right there. And now we can run this file. Boom, we include the 0. Okay? All right. I know this is stupid. Like, I get it that this doesn't make sense. You would never just populate arrays with individual integers and then just count them down. Like, this is not about what the program does. This is about the process of using an array and combining it with for loops, okay? For loops are really what give arrays their power. There's a problem with Drake's? Okay, I'll check it out in just a sec. Okay, any questions on this? Are you guys okay? Simple arrays, not very hard, okay? Not super difficult. Are you guys good? We're okay? All right. So we will stop the video right here since this is just the example program. Don't subscribe to PewDiePie's channel. There is not a link in this video to subscribe to his channel. Don't go there and subscribe. Yeah, go unsubscribe from PewDiePie and ask one other subscriber to come along with you and subscribe to our channel. Do me a favor and do whatever, because this channel doesn't make any money, so whatever. With the hope that YouTube does not flag this video. Our last example program video got flagged as adult content for some reason. Hopefully our video for arrays does not get flagged as adult content because it's arrays, it's not adult content. It's, yeah. I don't think so. I don't know. YouTube's algorithm needs some work because it flagged our for loop program as adult content, so sorry. Okay, all right.